Hi, everybody. I am naturopathic Dr. Fiona Chin, co-founder of Kidney Coach, Kidney Disease Solution and Kaigenesis. And I am joined by the very gracious and beautiful Linda, who is some part of our community. And Linda reached out to us because she has such an amazing healing transformation using a program, but using some other things. And we really wanted to have Linda share her story because it's one of the greatest stories of hope that I think we can share. And that's what we're here to do. Sometimes people just need to hear what's possible for them to realize that their fate with kidney disease, because we know what we're told with kidney disease, right, Linda? Transplant or dialysis,
Yes,
no other choice, huh?
or death. They only give you
Yeah,
three choices.
exactly. So, and Linda's just decided, nah, that doesn't work for
No,
me. I'm going to do something completely different. So, Linda, firstly, thank you for sharing your story with everybody in the community
you're
and taking the
welcome. You're
time.
welcome.
We really appreciate it. So, Linda, 73, looking vibrant and healthy and amazing, and you're still working full time and teaching and doing some really amazing work you were just telling me before we hit record of really supporting youths and their transition from one school and helping them to feel comfortable and grounded. So doing some really important work there. And of course, you can't do that if you're failing kidneys. So walk me through. So you sort of told me when you were pregnant, you got toxemia with one pregnancy, which caused some significant kidney damage. But as far as you know, that was under control, right? No problems there.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
exactly. And no follow up, you know.
Yeah,
I had a baby. What more did I need?
exactly. And then diabetes diagnosed in your 50s,
Yes.
but under
Yeah,
control,
and
right?
yes, with medication. Yes.
Okay.
And so, um, yeah.
And
But
then,
as I look back on my GFR,
yes, thank you.
I saw, well, I had one for stage one for stage two, chronic kidney disease, and one for stage three. But they never talked to me about it. And in any of those stages, it would have been easy to reverse it, you know, but
Yeah.
they didn't tell me.
So you got COVID early 2020, right?
Late 2020, yes,
Late
in
2020. That's right.
October.
Right. And then that's when you got flagged about having quite severe kidney decline, right?
After that, when I went in for a physical, yes.
Okay. So talk to me from there. So there's a bit of history. No one's told you that there's the beginner kidney decline. You get flagged when you were what, right down at 18 eGFR or something like that?
No, I was 15. I
Right.
was at the lowest of stage four, and then it
Right. So
dropped to
walk me through.
14.9. Okay,
Okay.
so they put me in the emergency room. They were going to put me on dialysis. They had a committee meeting, decided not to do that and see what happened. And I was in denial. I felt fine. There's nothing wrong with me, you know.
Mhm.
And actually, other people said, "Well, you're not sick." And I said, "I don't feel sick." I didn't know what to look for. And they were seeing me every couple of weeks. And I slowly brought it up to like 15.6 and 16, but nothing dramatic. Okay. And then I started getting appointments with like a dozen different physical physicians, things like that. And it wasn't probably till that summer of 2021 that I thought, maybe I should do something. And I started realizing about then, I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was nobody out there to help me. None of the medical people had gone through what I'd gone through. I soon realized I had to be my own advocate. So I have about a dozen binders, one for each doctor, because they didn't
Amazing.
talk to each other. I was my own advocate. So I carried my chart work with me, and I started going through dietitians that they recommended, but they only focused on the diabetic side of things. A diabetic diet is cut and dry, where a renal diet changes stage by stage. And
Mhm.
then putting the two together is difficult,
Yes.
coordinating them. And so I started doing my own research. So by 2022, I had brought up my GFR to around 19, and I
Now
kind of just,
yes, sorry to interrupt. Have they flagged a transplant by now?
no. I mean, they were starting at that point, I was
Okay.
going through the hospital procedure, and I'd already gone through the training for the dialysis. And of course, I assumed that dialysis fixed kidney function.
Right. Yeah.
Was I surprised last year? It was just a year ago that I really dug in because there was something that was annoying me about dialysis. I couldn't put my finger on it. Ordered a bunch of books, and I kept hearing testimonies that the most you would get out of dialysis was 13 to 16% function. I was already at 19. Why would I go backwards? And then at my age, my kidneys would never recover. They would just atrophy. And I'm going, no. So then I put out on social media that because I'd already had about 5 people, relatives, want to donate a kidney. They went through the testing, they were a match, but they have to be in perfect health. And the
Yes.
other thing they don't tell you is the patient has to be in really good health. So that's when I started beefing up my own regimen with exercise and things like that. And then, so I, it's through Facebook and things like that. And I promised myself that if anybody shared and wasn't my friend, I would befriend them. And
Well,
so, so my
love it.
daughter-in-law across the Rocky Mountains, I had a friend up in Ontario that was part of a holistic healing group, and he shared it. And I got in touch with him and said, "Do you want to be my friend?" And he had all these credentials that were really way out there. Like he was a shaman, like he was into healing. And I'm going, oh, this is strange, but he sounds intriguing. So we
Mhm.
started talking, and he says, what you need is you need Chinese medicine. You need Chinese acupuncture. Let me research one and find you one down there. He did. And then it was in October, last October. He says, you know what? I've got this email
Mhm.
about a place in Australia called Kidney Coach. And I don't know why I have it. I don't know anybody with, chronic kidney disease, but you might want it. It might be information for you. Well, happened to be the very time I was asking the question of myself, how can I increase my kidney function and reduce my creatinine count? But
Yeah.
guess what? As soon as I punched on the Kidney Coach website for that webinar that was coming up, that
Yeah.
was the first 2 things it talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh my goodness. So I took that as a sign that this is the way to go. Because I was getting dozens of things on Facebook. We've got the cure, and you watch this long video. And then you find out you have to buy their product. Oh, wait, it's limited. So you have to get 3 or 5 right now, and I'm going,
With some steak knives.
no. And so I went through the webinar with Kidney Coach. I was impressed with the education. As an educator, that is key. And so anything that I wasn't learning was reaffirming what I had already researched, and it made sense. It was
Mhm.
logical and reasonable. And so the diet that I had put myself on was really strict. And you allowed avocados. Oh my goodness. So, you allowed some things that I wasn't allowing from my research.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that really surprised me, the big no-no in kidney diets on the Western side is no herbs, no herbal tea, no herbs.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going, wait a second. You guys are saying yes, and then doing the research, I'm going, well, yes, 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 yes. Now, I got my herbs from my acupuncturist because he gets them from a good source.
Perfect.
Because he's part of this. He actually just got his doctorate because he did the whole dissertation on what's going on with me. And so,
Amazing.
you know, and so anyway, after the acupuncture, my GFR went up to 24. After the herbs, it went up to 26. It's now 27, and it's still rising. And
Amazing.
so the surgeon said if I could keep it at 24, he wouldn't do surgery. Well, I'm not stopping there. I'm not standing for that sort of thing. So I'm still going and going and going. And so that's basically in a very short form, it's been 3 years and
Yeah.
it is intense work, but it's fun because I'm healthier.
Yeah. So when I've looked at your blood, and I'll share the screen with people so people can actually have a look at what's happening with your eGFR and things like that. So thank you so much for sharing that. So here, when you started in January 2021, your eGFR was 15.8 and it had been down, you said, the 13th of the 1st at 14.9. And we can see it goes up, back down again, and then sitting and hovering around the middle. And then it really started to make a dent here when you started the dietary changes. Have I got that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then it's sort of bumping up and down. And then it starts to really go in the next levels when after the webinar, and then the herbs that we've got in our kidney that I would have gone through in the
Yes.
webinar, in our kidney prime formula, that's when we start to see some really significant jumps there. And you started the Nana's tea too, huh?
Yep.
So
Yes, I love
interesting.
lavender.
Oh, good one. My Nana love lavender too. Do you know the lavender is simply in there? We're like, why is the lavender in
I
there?
know.
But it's because my Nana loved the taste of it. And that's one of the reasons. And of course,
I
it's a
do
cover.
too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
I-
She was like, I'm not into this green metal stuff. Can you make it taste better? I was like, oh, put some lavender in there.
And it tastes really good. I will
Oh,
tell you, it
good.
tastes really good. You don't need sweetener or anything. It's really good. So,
So you've done an amazing job. So from what I hear is you've gone from, and you were telling me this great story right before we hit record where you got a phone call. Tell me about that. You got a phone call just the other day from one of them, just you wanting to do a stress test.
yes. Well, I have to tell you about the first one. I think it was November. I'm doing pool therapy. And so I'm butt naked getting ready to take a shower after being in the pool. And I get a phone call on my cell phone. I don't recognize the number. And it's the hospital saying, you've got 30 minutes to decide if you want a transplant or not. I'm going, oh, well, thank you very much. You give it to the next person because my kidneys are healing. I don't need that. They go, you're turning down a transplant? I said, of course, you know? And so that they'd never heard of before. And then this morning, I get a phone call from the hospital saying, well, you're due for your annual stress test, to see if your heart's still functioning well and, to get you going on the kidney transplant again. And I said, well, evidently you haven't heard. I'm not interested in a transplant. So you can, I don't want to do the stress test. It's too stressful. But they already knew, they already knew, but I said, you need to communicate with each other and let them know I'm on the inactive list, but so, yeah.
It's amazing. And what do you think makes, so you sort of worked and done some research before. What do you think has made the biggest dent in your kidney function going up? Because it's, people say it's impossible. You can't heal from kidney disease once you're on dialysis, all those things. And we're blessed enough to see the opposite. And you've been a prime example of that. So for people listening, because people always look for the magic bullet of what was it that you did, Linda, that's going to cure me? So walk people through listening what you think.
Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly. Uh, I don't think there can be complete, whole, permanent healing unless you deal with the spiritual, mental, and emotional first. Whatever got you and my friend calls it dis-ease, DIS hyphen
Yep.
ease. Your
Yep.
body's ill at ease with something.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really traumatic childhood. And, I'd forgiven everybody. But you know what? In April, a year ago, I looked in the mirror and I couldn't tell that woman in the mirror that I loved her. I
Mm.
could not forgive her. And I knew that was a big red signal that I was not whole emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So I think that's where it has to start because then your mind can change and you're open to new ideas. You're more logical. You're excited about the whole journey, And so
Yeah,
it was a whole philosophical things that really opened me up to it.
that's
And
amazing.
your book deals with that very
Yeah.
much.
And I'm glad you said that because we are big believers. So anyone listening that is just like, well, hang on, what about the herbs and things like that? And thank you for bringing that up, Linda. But, we also, as naturopaths, we call it dis-ease as well. And
Yeah.
if you've looked at any of our podcasts and all the content we put out, we talk a lot about the kidneys being the seat of fear. So it
Yes.
sounds like something, you shifted something fundamental, and that forgiveness of yourself tells every cell in your body that you are allowing yourself to heal. Because if you don't forgive yourself, why would the body take on healing energy? And then all the stuff that you're doing is going to be far more effective.
And so my friend in Ontario taught me the Ho'oponopono prayer, and that was just really key. It's just very short, just 5 little sentences, but it really was transformational. And that's when things just start opening up. And I think my body was clearing out of all the stuff that was making it full of dis-ease. It wasn't happy with itself. And I wasn't happy with it, so.
And now?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I can look in the mirror and I like that person. She's crazy, but I like her.
Fabulous. I love her. So, so everybody that's listening, do you want to run them through the herbs that you're taking?
I'm taking the ones that are in the
crime. So danshan and astragalus,
yes,
bromania.
yeah.
Fantastic.
And I do that twice a day. I take now my acupuncturist doesn't put them in capsule form, so I make them into a tea. But they dissolve, and then so I do that morning and night with breakfast and dinner, and then I do the Nana's tea with my lunch, and that's my midday then, and so yeah, that's what I do there.
And going forward, what are the things that you have to keep implementing to get this? Because we're now aiming to get your kids back up into the 40s. So what do you need to keep doing or implementing to keep healing? What are the things that you go, these are so important and non-negotiable, they have to stay part of this process for me?
The Chinese acupuncture, because I saw a meet with, and the thing I didn't have anybody to guide me. Whatever I started was like 6 weeks on either side, so I could tell if that was the direct cause and effect. Okay. And so I saw direct cause and effect there. And the herbs, I could see direct cause and effect there. And Nana's tea has, brought it up. Now, I think my numbers are probably in the 30s. I had the nanovirus when I had the blood taken. And of course, we know that every virus is going through those kidneys.
Yes.
And so they were fighting. They weren't happy. And so but the fact that it was still at 27%, it went up, is amazing to me, and of course the medical staff is thrilled. But those 3 things I have to do. Of course, exercise is good. But those 3 probably are non-negotiables for me because they're working.
Yeah. And people have been, you look great, but you were saying people had said the same thing to you, that you were, looking fabulous and all of those great things.
They say I'm looking younger and younger. I've had students, because I teach internationals, they came back after a decade, and graduated with honors from the college and said, Mrs. Graybiel, you look younger than before. And I'm going, oh yeah, I figured it out. I'm going to get younger. That's one of my goals.
I love it. Linda, is there any final parting words that you want to share with people listening to this, that if they've been diagnosed with kidney disease and, have been told what you may have been told in the beginning, is there any words of wisdom for someone who's been through it and really changed their story around and their trajectory of where they were going, things you want to share with people that maybe have given up hope or don't know the way?
One thing you can do, because you're going to need medical staff, at least for the blood tests and things like that, you're going to need them to trust you. So much so that when I decide to reduce my medication, my doctor says, great, you're keeping accurate records. So that's the thing you have to do. You have to do that part. Don't depend on them to keep everything for you, or they won't interpret it correctly. The other thing is for people that they need to share that the thing is, I didn't even know what questions to ask. So that makes it hard. If you're going on your own, you don't even know what to ask because you're told certain things. And so mainly, people have been reaching out to me because they see a difference in me. When you are healed, you are now responsible to share what you know. You don't have to push it on people, but you have to share. And that's part of the deal. No healing. But if you're healed, you are responsible. So it changes the whole trajectory of your life because
Love that.
you're on a radar for people that are like that. And I would just say find someone. I mean, in your book, you talk about develop friendships with people that are going through this very thing. I have a close friend at church that her son gave her a kidney transplant, and she's my age. But she is just going, yay, yay, yay. If you don't have to have a transplant, great. I'm pulling for you. So I've got this cheering section almost everywhere I go of people that are saying, yes. And even the doctors are saying, we don't understand what you're doing, but it's working. Numbers don't lie. So keep on doing it. We are backing you 100%. And to get that kind of trust really, really, really helps. So you can't just go in there demanding because they only are doing what they have been taught to do. They don't know that there's options. And anything else is like voodoo to them.
Yes.
And the thing that helps too that people need to know is you have clinical trials, access to that for all the herbs that you have to show what they do. So you're not just saying, oh, take this miracle cure. It's going to, do wonders. You give the whys and wherefores. And so you need to get educated. I would tell people get educated. But I'm just directing people to Kidney Coach. You guys are good. You're reliable and you're honest. You have a 20-year success rate. I mean, this is huge. Don't just fall for everything because you'll spend, $50 on something you stop after 2 weeks. That's not worth it.
Amazing. And I think I love that because you're right. You have to become your own advocate and be, like with your binders that you take everywhere. You're right, because the left doesn't talk to the right arm in medicine, and the fact that you can go in and be confident and, you're strong enough to advocate for yourself and ask questions about, is this really what I want? And is this the only way? And that can be scary for people, right? When you're told that you've got a disease that will, like you say, you've not got many options there, but you're obviously brave enough to go, you know what, I'm going to look at this differently. And so I want to commend you for your bravery. And second, I'm so glad that we're part of your journey and that we can support you getting that out there that people know. So, and I think we should catch up again when your numbers creep up into the 40s there, which they will. Yeah. And we'll be part of your cheer team. But Linda, I just want to say thank you. I know you were also thinking about writing a book, so we definitely will have you back on with that when you can share your journey that way. Any other final words of wisdom for people, Linda, before we wrap this up?
You might find, talking to the people, you might find that you're healthier than you've been in decades once you go through this process. I have more energy, more health than I have had in a long time. And my brain is clear. I work with teenagers every day and my brain is clear and they love me and I love them. And so don't give up your dreams. I thought I would maybe before I got chronic kidney disease last I was 80 years old, because that's when my parents died. And then I started researching about dialysis and transplant. And I go, well, maybe I'll make it to 75. I'm going, oh no. Well, now people are telling me, because I have people that do readings and stuff, no, I'm going well into my 90s. So I've got a plan for the long haul, but don't give up, just don't give up, because there's a plan, there's a purpose, and it can all work out for good. I can guarantee it. If you have the right mind.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful message to end on. So, Linda, thank you. So, again, if people missed it, Linda got her eGFR up from 14.9. She's all the way up at 27 at the moment. We think she might be scratching the 30s. We're just waiting for the next test to come in. And she's going to keep going until she's up into her 40s at the very least and making it all the way through to 100. You never know. I love
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, let's do it. Well, Linda, again, thank you for your time and thank you for sharing your story of inspiration with everybody. You are a beautiful woman and, I think only great things are happening. Please stay in touch and keep us abreast of your journey. And we're always, of course, here for you if you need any support.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Thanks. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.